Welcome back to the Pipe and Tobacco Talk podcast. It's episode 42. And Tim, you know what time it is. It's time to read.
It's time for the Pipe Prop 69 warning. Is that what you were going to say?
I was. So go ahead, Tim. Read it off to him. Let him know.
Warning, this podcast will expose the listener to offensive, insensitive, off-putting, and otherwise socially unacceptable content known to the state of California, Mike, to cause cancer. To avoid injury, the sponsors of this... I thought that was me. We suggest you grow a pair.
That away, Tim. And thank you, as always, to mbsdpipes.com for sponsoring our Prop 69 warning. And I've got a couple of new ones from MBSD Pipes to show off and what's new in the collection this week. So we'll get to them in a minute. With us tonight, we have an incredibly wonderful guest. Mike Murphy from the Pipe and Tamper podcast has joined us tonight. Mike has been instrumental in helping me. And by the way, the most underrated blender on the planet. Mike has come up with 3 blends that are on the ESF blend list, and they're all fantastic, and we'll get to that in a minute. Tim, any housekeeping to do before we get started?
No, I would just say, though, that, in addition to all the things that you mentioned about Mike, he's just an honest-to-God good guy.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about adding another blend I haven't thought about to the Dragons line of tobacco. You got Dragon's Tear is the first one.
Yep.
I have a name for the second one, but I haven't thought about what I wanted it to be, and it's going to be called Dragon's Breath.
Ooh.
So I need to give that some thought and in my head see what works well together. That satisfies my palate, of course.
No. So back in 2022, Mike and Jay from the Pipe and Tamper podcast got a hold of me and said, Mike's got an idea for a blend. I want to do this. We're going to call it Meteora, and gave me some latitude with it, but he wanted it to have Orientals and a little Latakia. Absolutely fantastic blend. Love it. And then, about 6 months later, Mike, you called me and said, I got an idea for a blend, Satanic Panic. He called me up, says, these are the 3 ingredients I want. Here's the math. Gave me the whole thing, put it out. Absolutely fantastic. And then 3-4 months ago, you put out Dragon Tears. Called me up, said, I want this. You have a fantastic nose for tobacco.
Well, that's really as far as it goes. I have nothing to do with putting these things together. That's all you, pal. Seriously, it is all you. I can tell you what I want in it, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to come out well. Although I have to say, in all 3 cases, they've all turned out pretty well.
They have. In fact, I sold a couple of jars of Dragon Tears this week. Meteora continues to sell. And Satanic Panic has, for people that like a lat bomb. And
that's it, yeah.
They've been fantastic. And I've been begging you that we need to do the Murphy line in ESF. 5 blends from Mike. You need 2 more. And we could do the Murphy line.
I'll think about Dragon's Breath, and I'll let you know.
All right. I have some ideas for that.
Okay.
I made a dark air-cured Virginia, and I cased it with apple vinegar cider and apple flavoring, and it's got a very rich, deep flavor. It's not overwhelming by any stretch of the imagination, but it's got a very nice, tangy taste to it, and it's very cool.
Okay.
Excellent. So you guys did an episode of Pipe and Tamper today, talking about the Capital Land show. How'd it go?
We did. It went well. Maybe it went a little over an hour, and it was really just a recap and Jay's experience at the show, sort of how the show came to be, how it's grown over the last 2 years, and really Jay's overall experience at the show, seeing the people, the pipes that he bought, and so on and so forth. So
that's just a one-day show, right, Mike?
Yeah, one day for from 11 to 7 or something like that on it's a Saturday show. So, and which was yesterday. I'm not sure when this episode's going to go out, but today is Sunday as we record. So, it went well. That episode went well. There's very rarely bumps in the road when Jay and I record. Thank goodness.
Yeah. Tim and I are pretty much all bumps.
Are you gloating?
No, I'm not gloating. I'm actually just thankful that that's the case.
Yeah, we're like a secondary highway in Costa Rica.
Oh, no, you guys are like herpes. There's bumps everywhere in the road.
Our last episode, our guest went dark for the last hour, which was kind of cool. That was fun.
That's weird. I did have to install Chrome. I didn't know that Riverside requires a Chrome installation. So I had to look at passwords and phone numbers and all that stuff to get on, but it wasn't too terribly tough.
This is what Ben picked. I have no idea why he picked Riverside. I mean,
he did it to fuck with us.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's one of those technologies that is actually probably pretty easy to manage. Any knucklehead can use.
And you're dealing with us.
Probably.
So, yeah. And
there's truth in that for all three of us,
Yeah. Well, I have a login for it. So if Ben's busy or working, I can log in and send the emails out. And usually the episodes that I'm recording are the ones that turn out to be like Flat Cap and the Lady Fire episode. They just went black. Just.
Oh, it's interesting.
We got audio, and we have no idea.
You didn't get a full episode with video, in other words.
That is correct.
Right.
Yep.
And it blacked out right at the time. Well, here's what's happened.
It blacked off right at the time. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that. Anyway. Okay. Warning. This podcast will.
What's your problem?
Exactly.
But we've had instances before where somebody would freeze, and or they would black out, and Riverside's still recording it, and it picks it up in the final version.
So in the final version of this instance, did you get all the video? You just couldn't see it?
No, well, we didn't get any of the video. We couldn't see it, and we didn't get any of the video. But we thought it was probably still recording. So they're showing pipes, and I got this one, and we're going, oh yeah, that's nice.
You faked it.
What a couple of douchebags. Us, I mean,
that's how these web-based programs work. They we're looking at each other all on the absolute lowest resolution because that's all the internet can handle, right? Can't handle 4K, but it records in 4K, and that's why you all have to download that afterwards.
Right. Correct.
Or your grandson has to download it.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah.
You guys do downloading. You all know what downloading is, all right?
No.
Yeah, it's taking a shit. Giant shit is downloading.
Yeah, that's
one of those.
I'm downloading
epiphanal
dinner.
experiences.
what we all do after a nice hefty dinner at Del Taco is what you're saying.
Yeah.
He'll download.
Yeah. Actually, I run down to the gas station because I got the handicap stall with the rails on both sides, so I could just hang on and pray for death.
The atomic BM.
No.
Boom.
Yeah.
Pow, he says.
I've gotten a ton of comments. So Alan, our favorite vegan, was on our last episode, and Richard says, what you should do after the Prop 69 warning is tell people that the proper temperature for steak is medium rare. Like, okay, all right.
Right.
You still get vegan hate mail?
Oh yeah, got a good one last week. Tim and I were called chuds. Cannibalistic humanoid
underground dwellers.
Right. Hey, if a vegan and a vegetarian jump off of a 12-story building both at the same time and fall to the ground, which one wins?
I have no idea.
Society.
Right. And whoever called you a chud, you know that was not original. That's an old horror movie from the 80s.
That's what I thought. It was a movie called Chud.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
dude,
Wow.
you're not only are you not original, but you're a friggin' vegan.
Yeah. Yeah. Who had COVID 3 times last month. So,
Right. I keep getting a vaccine and I keep getting COVID. I'm thinking,
Vaccines don't work, dude. I've had COVID 3 times and I'm fully vaccinated.
cause and effect. Do you ever think of that?
Yeah. No. So, Mike, you've been doing pipe and tamper now for 2+ years, correct?
2 + 6. Yes, 8 years.
Pipe and tamper has been 8 years now.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Pipe and Tamper had a rough start in 2016. After listening to like 300 episodes of Brian's show and having had some experience in the podcast space, I decided, well, I love pipes, love tobacco, love to podcast, so I would try my own, right? So I created this podcast, and it was called "Put That in Your Pipe and Smoke It." So, Pipe and Tobacco Podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did 5 interviews, released them on a weekly basis. And then I decided, well, Brian's already doing this. Why do we even need another Pipe and Tobacco podcast? So I quit it. 2 years later, I decided, okay, I think maybe I can do something a little different than what Brian's doing. And then I realized I actually can't do anything different than what Brian's doing. So I just started the podcast back up in 2018 as Pipe and Tamper.
All right. Now,
Podcasting is a derivative medium. I mean, we'd all do the same exact stuff. There are just different personalities. That's all.
Yeah, basically. No, we're not breaking any new ground here. So
No, none of us are really.
now, did you always have a partner in it, or was Jay just the addition at 2 years or so?
That's correct. Jay actually, I think, has been with the show for 3 years now. So
Okay.
I think this month is his 3rd year anniversary. Jay came on in 2021, in June, I think June or July of 2021. It was just something that I was about to quit the podcast and give up on it because I was tired of doing it. Because I've been podcasting at that point for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought, I need a break. I'm just going to quit this because I don't need 2 podcasts because I had a movie podcast at the time. But I thought, well, I really do enjoy doing it, and I love the community. I love being part of the hobby. Maybe I can get a co-host because, as you two know, being partners in this, bouncing off each other is what works.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine doing this by yourself for an hour? Right?
Oh,
It's
God,
tough,
no.
Tough to do
No.
No
solo
way.
podcast.
No, this would be your 3-minute podcast. Hey, how you doing? Good. Yep, nothing new here. Gotta go.
Yeah, I'd known Jay probably for about a year through our weekly Zoom chats during COVID,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought that he's this sort of East Coast personality with that heavy New York accent. He's a little boisterous, and I thought, okay, he might spice the show up a bit. It'd be different than anything else that was out there. So he was the one and only person I asked to join, and he jumped at the opportunity. So he's been with the show for 3 years now.
Oh, nice.
The first 2 years is what I like to call the Pipe and Tamper after dark episodes because it gets a little saucy.
Saucy.
It does get a little saucy during
Is
those.
that where they take their top off?
Yeah, but we show it. We don't intentionally black out the screen. Come on, not like you guys.
Fair enough.
And who doesn't
Fair
want to
enough.
see Jay without a top? Come on.
Now, you mentioned your other podcast. You did a movie podcast, and then you came back with a Movies in 30 Minutes podcast, and you did that sort of weird.
Yeah, my podcasting history is so late in 2011, I started a movie podcast. I did that for about a year by myself, solo podcast, having every episode, every week with a new guest on.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of that 1 year period, like what I did with Jay, I decided to look for a co-host. I had known Iris for that year because she had been a listener of the movie podcast and loved it. She always wrote in, she emailed in, she sent voicemails in, and I thought, okay, well, her and I are a lot alike in terms of our movie taste, right? Because I'm a little bit older than her, but we're grandma and grandpas now. So I invited her to come on the show, and she did. So she was on the show for solid 10 years with me. Her and another, we invited a third guest host in 2014. His name was Mark Searing. And the three of us had this, in my opinion, just this brilliant, unparalleled, unmatched chemistry and knowledge when it came to exploitation and horror movies. Those are the two genres we covered the most of. And we did hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of episodes over a 10-year period. So 2016, I mentioned, I started the Pipe and Tamper, renamed Pipe and Tamper in 2018. COVID came along, thought about quitting it. Jay hopped on board, continued it as it still is going today. And then I missed podcasting with Iris, so her and I did the show called, what was it called, Jim?
That's Sort of Weird.
That's Sort of Weird. And we did about 15 episodes together, and then Jim jumped in as our third co-host, and he was fantastic. I think what ended that was simply a lack of listener. Right? Hit the mute button, bud. He's gonna go beat the dogs. It was a lack. It wasn't a lack of interest, but it was a lack of listeners that brought that show to an end. I think you, myself, and Iris had great chemistry during that short run that we had.
Yep.
And then Iris and I picked up the movies in 30 minutes, and that only lasted 20 episodes. Bottom line is, I'm pretty burnt out on podcasting.
Okay.
Yet I do podcasting.
I've done two today, though, so, good enough.
And you're talking about podcasting.
Yeah, I'm burnt out on the monotonous sort of weekly preparation, the hours you put into it, always having to have somebody line up. It's a lot of work, as you guys have found out over the last, you guys have been on about a year now. Over the last year, you can fly by the seat of your pants like you both do and like what Jay and I do, but there's still a small amount of work involved. And when you're doing that every single week over, well, what for me now is almost 13 years, it gets tiring. So I haven't given up podcasting. Obviously, I'm here on this show, and I still love to do it. And I love to talk to guys who have similar interests, in this case, pipes and tobaccos. And Jay and I, we've come to the agreement, like, we don't want to do a weekly show. It's too much work. It's too much of a burden. Whenever we get the itch is when we're going to sit down and record.
Okay.
And that's working.
That one that you did, that was short-lived, that's sort of weird.
Yeah.
That to me sounded like a really kind of unique concept, though.
You would think, right? But there's a gazillion of those shows out there. So
is that right? Okay.
Yeah, we are way late to the party when it came to the subjects that we were covering. Everything from true crime to UFOs to washed up severed feet on the shores of Seattle beaches, Yeah, all that stuff has been covered time and time and time again. And our numbers prove that nobody kind of cares to listen to us because they just weren't listening to us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's the show that Jim will tell you consumes the most of your time because you have to do like this intense, deep research on everything that you're doing because you're putting yourself out there, not as an expert, but as someone who has done some research on a topic that you're interested in.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, that Sort of Weird led me to Jimmy Akin's Mysterious World and a couple other podcasts, and it's it's a giant rabbit hole.
I'm proud of the work that we've done, Jim, me and Iris on the movie podcast. We did some incredible stuff. The first one we did, we got millions and millions and millions of downloads over a 10-year period. It was extremely successful. But the podcast space has changed drastically over the last 12 years, and things are just not like what they used to be.
Yeah. I'm
So fun doing it. And anytime you guys want me on as a temporary third wheel, all I have to do is ask.
Well, excellent. We will careful what you wish for you will surely get it. So give me the top 5 highlights of podcasting. Your podcasting career.
Oh boy. I'm not going to put Jay at the top, but he was definitely a fresh of breath air for Pipe and Tamper. He's become a very close, good friend, somebody I can talk to, and somebody I trust that won't allow that conversation to go anywhere outside of him and I. So he's up there. Meeting Iris, she like her and Mark both in the podcasting space. I could not have asked for a better duo to podcast with. In regards to Pipe and Tamper, just the community, man. I did not expect that a pipe and tobacco podcast could actually have legs and traction, because we've had an overwhelming amount of success for a show that only drops episodes infrequently. We just surpassed our half million downloads in
Really?
an 8-year period. Yeah, and if we're lucky these days, we drop one episode every 8 weeks. So,
Yeah.
And the movie podcast, it was meeting movie directors, film actors, and actresses, becoming good friends with guys like Fred Olney, Jim Wynorski, guys who drove the B movies of Hollywood in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and them coming on the show to tell their stories, and just, again, the community that, to my surprise, went way beyond what my expectations were.
Excellent. Well,
No, that's not exactly 5, but
no, that's okay. But the chemistry that you and Iris had, Capital Land Pipe Show. Hey, look at that. The chemistry that you and Iris have is just magical, and I was really liking the 30-minute format. And I understand, it's a lot of work. You have to watch a movie.
Yeah.
Typically, you have to watch it, once or twice just to get a good feel for it, and then, now you're talking about you've got at least 5 hours into something. And I always enjoyed the part where you guys would pick 2 movies and one of them comes off the list. And I thought that was an interesting dynamic for the show.
We were just about to change that up. I won't say what we were going to do, because it really doesn't matter. So my very first movie podcast, don't laugh at the title, but we called it Badasses, Boobs, and Body Counts, because I wanted to cover 3 genres of movies. I wanted to cover action films, because there's badasses in action films. I wanted to cover exploitation films. There's lots of topless women in exploitation films. And body counts, I wanted to cover horror films. So those are the 3 genres that we ended up covering. And yeah, Iris is, she was a diamond in the rough, man. It still is. And we chat every day. She sent me like 6 messages today alone. So
I messaged her on Facebook. She didn't respond because it's under Emerson Southern. It's not under my name. So
sure, she might not have gotten it.
Yep. And I just absolutely loved our time on the air with Iris, because she was hilarious. I mean, she's just one of those genuinely fun people to talk to. And
yeah, super knowledgeable, very high IQ, much higher than my 72 IQ. That's for sure. She was the smart one of the bunch.
Yeah, keeping it room temperature, kids. That's how Tim and I operate.
Sometimes that's what you got to do.
So I'm going to ask the question that everyone wants to know. How did you come to being the king of Sunset Harbor Flake? Is that just trial and error? You picked it up and that one just had magic in it?
It's not. To get the full story, let me go to pipeandtamper.com. And I will tell you when I discovered that. I just need to search. So let's see.
And then you can tell us how many tins you have in your cellar of it.
I have a lot.
We don't talk about the numbers. We don't talk about the numbers.
I can tell you. I'm trying to look up. So here it is. So I had on, I forget his name for the life of me because the date is February 20th, 2019. It's episode 35. It was our International Pipe Smoking Day episode. And in that episode, what I used to call the quick tobacco review was Cornell and Deal's Sunset Harbor Flake. And that's when I was introduced to this blend, was February of 2019 by the guy. His name is The Artful Codger. He used to have a YouTube channel. His name is Ben. I could be wrong about his name, but that's how I discovered it. I let him pick the blend for the quick tobacco review for that episode. And I was just hooked, just completely hooked. I remember that episode being, I did a lot of tomfoolery in the day with sound effects when I really did editing, and I cared about podcasting much more than I do now. I made it as though the episode was being recorded on let me silence my phone. Hang on. Was being recorded on a boat in the Los Angeles harbor. So you hear these backgrounds of seagulls and
gunshots.
Well, yeah. Wait a
Bud, what's your problem?
You know,
every time you hear this,
Bud, what's your problem?
just think about that being as you dick.
Bud, what's your problem?
Korean store owners shooting their assailants.
So that's when I discovered that, because I let him bring the tobacco to the table, and the second I tasted it, I just knew I was gonna I didn't know I was gonna be hooked on it, but I definitely knew that this was a blend that I'm gonna continue to buy.
Yeah.
So that's how I discovered it, and since then, yeah, I've bought a lot of it. And you all can't see because the camera's here, and part of my cellar is over here. I'm gonna lean back here. Hang on. There's about 90 tins of it just on this one shelf here. Behind me in that closet, and in the room next door, there's probably 3 times that.
You're one of those guys that bought up all the Purell during COVID, aren't you?
No. No. I bought small amounts of it, but I did not try to resell it.
Order.
go out to his garage, roll up the doors. I've got 9,000 bottles of it for bird flu coming up.
You're trying to convince everybody your house used to be a Walgreens, you know?
Yeah, and congratulations, you have posted some adorable pics of a small child that is your grandson. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Well,
Is this your first one, Mike?
It is. Yeah.
Hey, good for you.
Yeah. It's been the few times that I've seen them, because they live in Sacramento. I'm in Fresno here, or close to Fresno, so we don't get to see them as often as we want to. But he's a little bundle. Excuse me, I almost choked on my whiskey. He's a little bundle of joy.
No. And what are you drinking tonight, Mike?
I'm afraid you guys will laugh at me if I show you.
No, we won't laugh.
No, we won't laugh at you.
No, you will. Trust me.
Please show us. Come on, show us.
You guys,
I haven't had a good laugh yet
drink
today.
like your gunshot comment was pretty good, dude. You laughed pretty hard at your own joke.
Hey, if I don't, who will?
Right. Because you guys drink like manly whiskey, and I don't. So this is my Sunset Harbor Flake of whiskeys. I'm going to hold it up here. Ready?
Mm-hmm. Oh, Fireball.
Peppermint, or cinnamon.
Fireball. Yeah.
Fireball
Fireball.
whiskey.
Every great decision starts with Fireball. I know.
In one
I
way
love
or
that
another.
stuff.
Right.
In one way or another.
Exactly.
Or Jaeger. It ends with Jaeger.
Yeah. Goldschlager. Yeah. What have you got that tastes like 3-month-old toothpaste? I got Goldschlager. Oh, let's try that. That'll be good. My son-in-law, every time we get together, somehow a large bottle of Fireball, and we'll consume it, and then, I think I can do that. You sure about this? No, I don't think so, but we're going to try anyway.
I
Let's
can
give it a
jump
whirl.
that. I can jump that.
I can do this.
So
No, nothing wrong with
one-up you.
Fireball at all.
You guys get Columbus out your way? Not out west. This is really good.
I haven't seen it,
Really
but
good beer.
be sure we do somewhere.
What is it? What are you drinking now?
Total wine stores here. They have everything.
Yeah,
What's that?
because the last
What's that?
time you had a beer on the show, it was pumpkin spice latte.
Yes.
Oh,
it was terrible.
yes. I love pumpkin spice beers. Pumpkin spice latte? No, I probably wouldn't drink that.
No.
Jim.
This tasted like a cross between, a pumpkin pie, maybe like a 7-day-old pumpkin pie that started to turn, and Jergens lotion. And don't ask me how I know how Jergens lotion tastes.
Wow.
I just happen to know.
I'm happy that you're at least trying to enjoy week-old pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
I know exactly how you're enjoying that Jergens. I don't have to ask about that.
Yep.
And I've fallen in love with Irish whiskeys because their proofs are a little bit lower. I had Eric, one of our contributors to the show, sent me a bottle of Pikesville rye, and it's like 110 proof, and it's just like
Closes your throat off.
Yeah, I can't drink this. This is I want to go out and scrub car parts with it. This is not acceptable at all. And you have to try something. Cask strength, and you look at it, it's like it's 115 proof. No, that's not enjoyable. I'm just drinking fire.
Too much.
I like them. Yeah, I like them around 80 proof. That's about where I'm at. No, we won't make fun of it. So, Mike, you have a particular line of pipes that you really enjoy, that you seem to have several of, the Radice. Tell me how you got into those and why you like them so much.
Hey, but before you go into that, Mike, and this is before I forget, if you will, this guy goes into his doctor. He's got a terrible stutter. And he says, Doc, you got to help me.
You know you're going to get
says,
emails about this joke.
I don't care. I hope so. Jim gets all the shade. I get nothing. That's why I'm doing this. So the doctor says, how long have you had it? I had it my whole life. And he said, well, let me see your penis. So the guy drops his drawers. He's got this enormous penis. And the doctor says, well, that's your problem right there. All the blood should be going to your brains, going to feed that thing. What do you think we can do? And he says, tell you what we'll do. He says, well, I'm going to cut about half of it off. He says, that'll make you about normal. He said, blood flow will resume to your brain, and you should be fine. So he goes through the surgery. About 3 months later, the guy goes back to the doctor. And he says, Doc, he said, I don't stutter anymore. This is just great. But he said, I got to have my penis back. He said, my girlfriend laughs at me. He said, I just feel embarrassed because, I was used to having a big penis and now I just got this little penis. And the doctor goes, fuck you.
That's pretty good. Boy, that took forever to tell.
All right,
But
well,
it's pretty funny.
yeah, that's pretty funny. Whenever people tell you, that's pretty funny,
It's really
not really that fun.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. You probably should stick with your day job, whatever that is.
Retired guy on the internet, I believe, is his current profession.
Right. I'm the most retired guy on the internet.
I completely forgot what you asked me, Jim.
That's okay. I don't either.
Your pipes, your special pipes. No, special pipes.
Let me tell you something. I'm so regretting.
What's your special pipe?
I'm so regretting.
Sorry, it's my penis.
If I had a big penis, my voice would sound like this.
I'm a guy with a big penis.
I'm not. That's why my voice sounds like this.
I have a little tiny penis.
I so regret not filling my soundboard up with like guys who snore, like dick, the boner sounds. Next time. Exactly. Next time. Radices. I discovered Radices in 2018. And I remember this because the wife and I, we took a trip to the coast, Morro Bay, for those of you living in on the California coast. And I said, hey, let's hit a couple of antique shops on our way to the coast. She goes, okay. And I discovered several pipes that I knew nothing about, but I wanted because they were in really good condition. So I brought them home, and one of them was a Radis. I had no idea what it was, and that's how I pronounced it. It's a Radis. Come to find out, it was a pre like 2000. Actually, it was not a pre 2000. It was probably 2003, 2004 twin bore Bulldog Radice. That's how I discovered that brand, and really enjoyed the way it smoked. And that's how it all began, really. And that's I took a deep dive into that brand, and to this day, probably about 110 of them.
Really?
That's a lot of radishes.
That's a whole lot of radishes.
Yeah.
And the reason, and I tell this to anybody who asks, is they're an affordable handmade pipe that smokes incredibly well. You'd be hard pressed to spend your $200 better on a similar pipe. You know what I'm saying? Now, obviously, Radices range in prices. You can get new ones at starting maybe $180 to $200, all the way up to thousands of dollars, depending on what your interest is in your collection. But the average price of a Radice is probably $220 new, and Jay may argue with this. Although if you listen to today's episode, I probably won't argue as much, because we talk about K Woody being factory pipes, but only made by one guy, right? Mm-hmm. I still call Radices artisan pipes, even though they're made in a small factory environment. And for the money, it's real tough to beat. I've never purchased a Radice that didn't smoke well.
There you go. The Italians do it right.
I prefer the Italian pipes over all other pipes. The bulk of my collection are Italians.
Yep. Excellent. Do you have a favorite pipe, Mike?
No, I really don't. I really don't have a favorite. I mean, I have. Nah, I don't.
Okay. Just grab whatever you feel like that day.
I'd love to tell you that my grandfather willed me his 1912 Dunhill, but he didn't do that. So
no. And my grandfather was a pipe smoker his whole life, and I don't think he ever bought a pipe that cost more than $4.
Most old guys went to Walgreens or whatever. They're Rexall. You guys remember the Rexall?
Rexall. That's right. Rexall drug.
They went there and spent $1.99 on a Medico, or K Woody or Dr. Grabo. So,
I ended up with my grandfather's pipes. It's like, and he was small, the smallest, lightest billiards you could find, and it's like, cool. I've got them. I'm going to put them in a shadow box someday, but they're not big enough to put like an enjoyable bowl of tobacco in. But that's what
maybe
he was
for
into.
him it was the perfect size, though.
Yeah, probably. Maybe
he was a guy who enjoyed a 20 to 30 minute smoke on the way to work or something.
Yeah.
And my pipes vary in sizes. I don't have, I don't play favorites to shapes or to finishes. If a pipe tickles my fancy, I'll buy it. I bought one pipe this year, and we're already in June. That's all I've purchased all year. So I'll buy more when I'm in Vegas.
All right.
I expect to see both of you in Vegas.
Yeah, that was a riot last year.
Jim, Jim, I'm gonna have to move to the sweaty state. I don't know if I'll be able to make it.
Steady state.
There's
Are you gonna do the same that thing that you did last year, where you did a giveaway?
I will.
You know,
we will try to probably duplicate something along that lines. Sure.
Okay.
Jay and I, we don't have figured out what exactly we're going to do because Jay hasn't told me whether he's going to go or not. Regardless of that, I probably will bring the mixer and several microphones and get some media time. So,
Well, if you do a giveaway or something like that, hit me up. I'll help out.
oh, I appreciate that. We'll do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'll be doing a giveaway.
Yeah. And,
There you
know,
go.
we can send them the Murphy line of tobaccos too. Send them.
The brand new Dragon's Breath, all
Yeah.
ready for Vegas.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
And those aren't so when Dragon's Tears released, I got several comments through Instagram. Oh, you're a Nintendo player. Well, first off, yeah, I am a Nintendo player because I have 2 Switches in the house and I play all their games. The theme to the latest Zelda game is Dragon Tears, but that's not where the name comes from. The name comes from a different video game that I'm currently playing.
No. Well, we could always do do a barrel roll or press Z or R twice.
Right? Well, that's not a bad idea.
I didn't even know what you were talking about until just a minute ago. I was like, what?
Yeah, my son, when his video console he got when he was, and he's 30, going to be 31 now. He had a Nintendo 64, and we played Star Fox and Mario Kart,
Donkey Kong, and all those great games.
Yeah, absolutely. GoldenEye.
I still play video games even at my age. So,
I never got the hang of it. And my grandson, not Ben, step-grandson. So he was probably 13 at the time, got a new Xbox, saved his money up, brought it here. Come on, play me. So he sets up a game, and he's playing, and I don't even know what the hell the switches are doing. And he's yelling at me like I'm an imbecile, which I am. For video game purposes.
Bud, what's your problem?
And he just stopped and hit the off button. He grabbed the controller out of my hands. He goes, "Give me that." That was it. That was the end of it. Give me that thing.
The youngins have very little patience for stupidity.
Man.
No.
Yeah.
No. I can't. Some of the games my son plays, and the guys I used to work with in South Carolina played like Smite or something. I called it Glitter Fairies because every one of their characters had like this hula hoop of power on, and they danced around, and it's like, what are you trying to do in this one? Well, you have to beat the gargoyle. Oh, okay, cool.
No. Okay.
I like the term glitter fairies, though.
That's pretty good.
Everything dances around and it's very prancy. It just looked like glitter fairies. So
It's prancy.
I grew up at a time where, so our neighbor, I'm from the Bay Area, and at the time we were living in San Jose. The guy living next to us was the co-founder of Atari.
ooh,
So that's where it all started for me in terms of my love for video games. In fact, I think he was sleeping with my sister because she got a job with him.
wow, there you go.
That would have been my guess. Anyway, she worked. She wasn't considered a founder because she was like employee number 20. But that's where it all started with me. He would bring home these like cartridges on PCP boards, PCP on PC boards,
Yeah,
right?
Right.
And he'd have these
There you
weird
go.
units to put them in because they wouldn't have a plastic container around them. So that's where it all started with me with video games. So I've been playing a very long time, and it actually influenced me to go to school and study computer science, even though I had already graduated from San Jose State, but study computer science and get another degree in the mid 80s and go to work for a video game company. So I did that for 8 years.
No, very cool.
And to this day, I still play a variety of different games. I don't have the reflexes I once used to have, so I play the old man games now. like checkers and backgammon stuff.
Okay.
Putt golf, you know.
The old man game. Yeah. Pull my finger. That's the old man game. You know, this would have been in 77, something like that. In college, I took a computer class. In computers then, it was key punch. You had to loaded a card into a key punch machine, and
Into the Whopper 9000.
Yeah. The little indicator line was off by one row, and I did this whole program for my final, and the professor called me into her office, and she said, "We ran this. It's just gibberish." And it's like, she goes, you're gonna you either have to redo this, and I told her, well, I think that thing's not calibrated right. And she said, well, you're going to have to redo this. I said, what's my other option? She goes, you get an F. I said, I'll take that. That was it. That was the end of it.
Technology is only as smart as the people programming it.
Yeah.
Well, this was,
In the
this
80s,
was the R word.
In the 80s, after I graduated from San Jose State, I went to work for Westinghouse, and we were designing missile launching systems for the Trident submarines. At the time, we were in a Cold War with Russia, so launching systems on every one of these submarines was a must-have. I mean, can you imagine submarines with MX missiles in them floating around in our oceans nowadays? I guess maybe they probably still are, but I remember my boss coming up to me, 6 months after I started, and he goes, "How does it feel to have ordered an M1 Abrams tank?" I'm all, "What are you talking about?" He says, "The MS number, order number? Yeah, you missed it by one digit. You didn't order a set of 4 screws. You ordered an Abrams battle tank."
The whole tank. Nice.
That's a true story.
Nice.
Yeah. It's
Good.
Tell us what you want to do with it.
That's funny. It's going to look great in our lobby.
And that's why I'm a truck driver now. It's a monkey could do my job.
My brother worked in one of the Strategic Air Command bases in Minot, North Dakota, down in the silos.
That's cold up there.
Yeah, well, and there were nuclear warheads in those silos.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I've witnessed. We had a launching facility in South San Francisco. If you look it up on Google, just type Hunters Point. Now it's all housing for very rich people. But during the time in the mid 80s, it was owned by Westinghouse, and it was a launching testing facility for the MX missile. I've witnessed these things going up into the air and just blowing up and falling into the bay. Obviously not armed, of course, because that would be stupid. That would be a bigger mistake than the battle tank. Interesting time.
But it was something. You spill your Pepsi on the control panel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at least, it would have been a good vehicle to take down to Los Angeles for their traffic.
Sure, you felt at least halfway safe there.
Yeah. Back in the 80s, a little rough driving in Los Angeles. Go ahead. What are you in? I'm in an M1 Abrams. Have a nice day. Oh, I got rear-ended. How can you tell? There's a guy stuck on the back of my vehicle. He's fine.
His car's stuck in the tracks of my tank.
Right.
Looks like it was.
Felt like I'm going over
right after the Gulf War, people were driving those the Hummers.
Yeah.
Where they can get them surplus, and in traffic, and they're hitting people with a Humvee.
Those things are huge.
Oh, geez. And you can drive
we're not talking
on a 60-degree.
Right, we're not talking civilian vehicles there. They're much bigger than like those.
Yeah, these are GI,
right?
Right.
GM made, right?
Yeah. So you got a Honda Accord gets T-boned by an MRAP. It's not good. Not good.
Do you guys remember when we were kids and you looked at the comic books and you could get a Jeep for like $100 and it would come in barrels, like a Wiley's, like a World War II super.
Right.
Man, I wanted one of those so bad. And My grandfather
know.
looked at me and said, "You know, you have a tough time with light bulbs and screwing stuff back in. You really want to buy a Jeep?" What do you mean? Well, yeah, it comes in
Yeah.
oil barrels. You have to take the things out, clean them up, and you can put it together.
Yeah.
Would that be so bad? Yeah, you're not doing it here. Oh, cool. All right. Thanks,
Well,
Grandpa.
we got it's the Civilian Marksmanship Program, CMP,
Mm-hmm.
and you can go to the armory and rebuild an M1 Grand, and that's what you do. Is you go through crates of barrels and parts, just parts. And when you're done, you've got a full M1 Grand, but everything's got a different serial number. Nothing matches. But it's still a functional. It can be like almost new. You make the barrel and they're like new, and that's kind of a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
You go and you build your own battle rifle. Kind of cool.
All right.
And then you go
Let's.
kill somebody. Then you go kill somebody. That's kind of cool too.
No, this is not Los Angeles. I would do it there in Los
Well,
Angeles.
I don't live in LA.
They never
just so-
find you because everybody's killing everybody in Los Angeles.
I want to be clear. I do not live in LA.
Yeah, well,
I would
no.
kill myself if I did.
You wouldn't have to.
I do go to LA. Right. You're right. I do go to LA on occasion
You would.
to meet with the LA Pipe Club, though.
All right.
Every now
The
and
guys from San Diego, I met them at the Vegas show, and we had a couple of guys on from
Bud and Eric from
the-
San
the-
Diego Pipe Club.
yep.
Yeah.
San
I'm
Diego
actually a
Pipe
member
Club.
of the San Diego Pipe Club. So
and you've never been there.
never been. Well, I've been to San Diego on multiple occasions. I just never been to a meeting. So
You go to other meetings.
yeah.
AA
Hi.
meetings is
Yeah.
what he's
Hi, my
referring
name's
to.
Jim.
I'm an alcoholic.
No. I tell everybody the same thing. No,
Howdy.
I'm a tobacco pipe aholic.
yeah. I have pipe acquisition disorder, something awful. So
I know. Jim's so bad. You could take a pile of cow shit, put a stem in it, and he'll buy it.
So Jim, that's still a thing then.
oh yeah.
Clearly, I don't have it because I bought one pipe this year.
Yeah, the problem is since Mitchell from MBSD Pipes has become kind of my crack dealer, and I've got a couple that'll show off a little bit later. But he says I got in 2 boxes of Dr. Graybows. They need a little bit of work, but I'll give you a good deal on them. Okay.
Also, when you have a podcast, free shit comes your way. Just allude
yeah?
to it now.
Yeah, pretty much,
Oh,
because when we get
Tim's
to
all,
what's
I
new,
haven't gotten anything yet.
I know. Well, the address in our show notes is Jim's address in Parker, Colorado. That's why. But that's okay. I don't have the problem. He has the problem.
Right.
The
Pipe
the
makers
PAD
don't
problem.
have that problem.
I get a new pipe every day.
Exactly.
Yep.
yeah, I have
And Tim, you've been doing some, getting back on track here, at least I think that's what Jim's trying to do. You've been doing some incredible work, my friend. I could see that with your Instagram post, you're growing as a pipe maker in a positive direction, in my opinion.
Well, thank you.
Well, I mean, for people who follow you, they can see that as well.
Well, thank you. Sincerely.
You're welcome.
The thing is with Instagram, truth be told, I'm getting kind of tired of that platform.
Oh, I'm tired of it too.
Yeah.
I just told my wife when I was
Enough said.
looking through it earlier today, like every other post is an ad. It's 50% ads. Instagram is.
yeah,
And,
it's-
honestly,
Well,
and I know you
Yeah.
can, you could touch Instagram and then you can touch followers or friends or whatever it is and bypass the ads.
yes.
But that's 2 extra finger touches. That's a lot of work for me.
well, you know what? Here's my weakness. Where Jim has pipe acquisition disorder, I've got an appetite for the inane, and so those little shorts, I'm looking for like somebody falling on their face or
Dude,
you know what I
same
mean,
here.
their heads
I
exploding.
You're addicted to stupidity. The watching of stupidity.
Yeah, I am.
I am too. It's
Guilty.
so fun.
And you start out with good intentions, like I'm just going to check this, see if anybody's messaged me. I'll message them back. Next thing you know, I'm looking through those shorts, and 30 minutes will go by, and I flip through 90 million of those things.
It's easy to go down
and
that
I think
rabbit hole, my friend.
I'm training my brain to be distracted. Like I can't keep.
No,
a
it's
thought
already
in my head
trained. It's
anymore.
already fully trained.
Oh,
It's at level 300.
oh,
True.
YouTube Shorts.
All I'm doing is reinforcing it. I'm
Yeah,
honing
YouTube
my
Shorts-
skill.
Yeah, YouTube Shorts is the same. It's addicting stuff.
Oh, Jim, how long's your attention span? Looks like about 8 seconds currently. So,
So here you
Yeah.
go, buddy.
Yeah. Here you go.
And
That's
I
right.
love how they reel the horny old men like us in. They like put a picture of a girl up with big boobs, and she's not even in the video.
yeah, exactly. Like,
Right.
what's
They know
this?
what's up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Here's a trick golf shot. That's not what I wanted. I don't want that.
If I could tell you, somebody drank all my beer, and if you guys will just talk amongst yourselves, I'll be right back.
Carry
Well,
on.
somebody's drinking my whiskey.
Oh, goodness.
I'm not sure who it is.
I got to get a fresh one.
I have, since we did the Austin from Pathfinder Pipes came on, and we did the service member giveaway where I drank an entire bottle of Redbreast on air. I haven't had a drink since because
Yeah, don't blame
by about the hour and a half mark, I was hammered. By the end of the episode, I was just gone. So
That's
I haven't
hilarious.
been drinking too much. On
Well,
air.
you and Tim you're the scourge of the Pipe and Tobacco podcast now. Now that Jay and I have cleaned up our act.
No,
No, you
this-
are. Just if you
Yeah,
admit it
we're-
and embrace it,
we do.
it feels better.
That's why we do the Prop 69 warning. We know we're going to say something.
Bullshit. I was when I first heard that, I was a little offended. I was a little offended by it when I first heard it, and then I thought about today, like, because I know they're going to read it, and I'm going to have to deal with that. But no, you guys it's pretty much dead on, actually.
Yeah,
I mean,
you know what? I don't-
get cancer, but don't come to California. It's one of the most expensive states that there is to live. It's just not worth it here.
I can second Colorado is second behind that list.
My $500,000 house would go for $100,000 in any other state.
It's just, I have a
ridiculous.
brother that lives north of the Bay. I told you this, I think. He lives in Benicia.
Okay, so it's basically the Bay Area.
It's the Bay Area.
Almost.
And
It's where the Zodiac Killer resided. So yeah, Benicia. I know
is that right? Okay.
Pretty close.
How long's your brother been there?
that his house would be 200 here, 250, and it's probably 750 there.
If not a million.
Just
We'll
crazy.
we'll save this for another episode. And Jim, I don't know if I've mentioned this to you before, but I do have a very strong belief that my father could have been the Zodiac Killer. I'll leave it at that. We'll talk about that maybe during another episode when you guys do like the Zodiac.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What tipped you off, Mike? Well, I found 2 feet in the trunk.
You would be shocked at some of the stuff I would tell you, but that's not why we're here.
No, that's all right. So
Shock me. I live in Fowler, Ohio, man. Come on, shock me.
No, that's for a different. That's for a different podcast episode.
Okay.
That's for the return of That's Not Sort of Weird.
Okay.
I have to tell you, there are 6 people that message me regularly on Instagram. When are you guys bringing that back? When are you bringing it back? And I said, well, it looks like never. So
Yeah,
as much as I would love to do it again, it was. I mean, it was work, but it was the most fun you can possibly have. I mean, just you and I.
I'm glad you got something out of it. I think the three of us did get something out of it, but I'm glad that it turned you on and into a podcaster. That's above everything else. That's that's what you should take away from that old show of ours.
What do you want to be when you grow up, Jim? I want to be a podcaster.
I want to be a non-paid podcaster.
Right. I know.
My wife asked me, goes, how much do you and Tim make on the podcast? Make? Like,
Oh, nothing, dear.
we haven't made anything on the podcast.
Every
Nothing.
now and then we get free shit.
We are not.
We
on
give it
the
away.
list.
All the shit that comes to us, we give away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we-
well,
I
as
don't
you
know.
should. I mean, you have, as like what I would consider the three of us, maybe the two of us, because I'm not sure if Tim, if you would consider yourself a collector, but we're hardcore collectors when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really I had this short exchange with Harrison Reeder, and it's a friend of Jim and mine, and he sent me a picture of himself smoking this beautiful Nording. It had like sterling on the mortise and everything. Beautiful pipe. And I said, oh, that's pretty nice. He goes, yeah, you got one like this? I said, no. And I've said this on here before, where, your collection, Jim's got a collection, and you guys view your pipe collections like an Arab, oil oligarch looks at his racehorses. It's a stable of fine racehorses. Mine looks like a kennel.
Look like Sarah McLachlan singing in the background. Won't you please take
Right.
me home and smoke me? Yeah.
Right. If my best pipe is that Chihuahua with the tongue hanging out of its side, and real watery eyes. One's cloudy.
Yeah. No teeth. Yeah. They have to run all the food through.
They start out nice, but after
Pipes are weird that way, right? Like if I were to lay all my pipes out, so I have about 30 pipes I tend to keep in my rotation at all times. About half of those are Italian-made pipes. About the other half are artisan-made pipes. I have 100 Radices put away in Radice pipe socks that I haven't seen in probably a couple years. They're just tucked away in the drawer down here next to all my Sunset Harbor Flake. If you were to lay all those 30 pipes out on my bed, and if I were to challenge you to tell you, which do you think I would smoke the most, you probably would never guess. I could tell you what it is. It's a pipe that Rich from Smith House Pipes gifted me a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little Dublin, a little teeny thing. It's about a 30-minute smoke. And I thought when I first got that, well, I generally like bigger pipes, but I've just grown to love that pipe, and I smoke it religiously. It needs to be cleaned. It needs to be, all that cake needs to be removed at this point.
Now it's a 15-minute bowl. Yeah.
right,
I don't know where I was going with I don't know where I was going in terms of what I was saying, but my point is it doesn't matter how big your collections are, right? We all tend to have much more pipes than what we really need.
Oh yeah.
I
It's just that,
disagree
like,
with
if
it.
you
No.
were to come to my Jim,
No,
course I
you're
do.
full of shit. No, yeah, that's wrong, Mike. There's, how many pipes is too
Right,
many? I don't know.
because-
I haven't got there yet. I'll let you know when I get there.
Diane's listening. Diane's listening to this, and she's like, "I agree with what that man said right there."
I've been offered sight unseen $10,000 for my 100 Radices. I turned it down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're worth more than 100 each, first off, right?
Yeah. Sure.
So, there's no reason why I would sell them at that price.
right.
Yeah.
No, that's a loser. Yeah, and my
And
wife.
for me, again, the most bang for your buck is the Radice, an Italian-made artisan sort of factory pipe.
Yeah. But like I avoid sometimes getting into esoteric conversations about pipe smoking with other pipe smokers because
I do too.
I'm a pig when it comes to. So when I smoke a pipe, it's usually when I'm working. Okay, and if you were to come and look at my workbench, there's probably 15 pipes strewn about on the bench, under tools, shreds of sandpaper, all that sort of stuff. most of them have half a bowl of unsmoked tobacco in them. And I'll look at, I haven't smoked that in a while. I'll pick it up and there's tobacco in them. I'm like, well, I'm not going to throw that away. And I'll light it and I'm like, wonder what this is. You know, I never know what the hell I'm smoking.
Yeah.
You know, and some of it that I'm smoking, it's like, you know, it's like sawdust and, you know, shavings out of a, you know, from turning a piece of rubber, you know.
You know,
ebonite.
it's weird. I think there's this evolution with people who collect pipes or newer pipe smokers who discover it for the first time, and over you know, a 2 or 3 year period, they go through these stages, right? We've all been there. Jim is still going through those stages, obviously. And at the end of the stage, there's going to be a time, I've reached this a couple years ago. There's going to be a time where a pipe is just a pipe. It doesn't matter who makes it. It doesn't matter if it's a Missouri Meerschaum $5 corncob pipe or an $800 Nate King artisan pipe. They all do the exact same thing. And I reached that point a couple years ago. And when I realized that, I just started smoking, you know, a half a dozen pipes that I really enjoy the most of, regardless of who makes them, regardless of whether it was an artisan pipe or a factory pipe. And those are the 6 or 7 pipes I continuously go back to, and they all need to be cleaned. I don't know if you guys have reached that stage yet, where it's just a pipe, it's a delivery system. It doesn't really matter who made it or what it looks like. What matters is how it smokes.
See, what I do, like the pipes that that I have, you know, I don't really, I like, you know, I got a couple of Savinellis, a few Savinellis, a couple of Petersons that I never smoke. And then everything else that I've got are artisan pipes, and they're ones that I either bought from other artisan pipe makers, or we traded, or somebody gifted me. And whenever I pick one of those up, that's what I remember. I think of that person.
That
you know
moment,
what I mean?
That relationship.
Yeah, right. Yes, exactly. And so that's there's one that I've got out in the shop. It's Jason Patrick made it. And every time I pick it up, I think he'd puke if he saw this pipe. It's got, you know, because he had
exactly.
It's like hand rusticated, you know, and all those little stipples are packed with all kinds of shit that was on my hands, you know. And I've taken a stiff brush and tried to clean it up. Said, it's no use. I can never show this to anybody. But you know what? It smokes great, and it's one that I'm like, I'm gonna smoke Jason's pipe today, you know. Yeah.
The Smith House pipe I continuously smoke multiple times a week. If Rich saw it, he might poop himself.
It'd be worth it.
On the next episode of Heretic Pipe Smokers,
Mike poops himself, along with Rich, of course. It has a Cumberland stem, which is a bit tougher, right, than your typical acrylic stem. So, and I just beat the hell out of that stem, but there are no holes in it, and it still works.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I hope that he takes that as a compliment more than anything else. That I go to his pipe more than any other pipe that I own.
Yeah, and that was the thing that I was talking to, or, you know, back and forth with Harrison about, is that there's to each their own, right? And for me, you know, I'll wear a pair of pants until they're threadbare, and it's the same thing with pipes. The more, call it, you know, broken in it is for me, the better I like it. And I don't know. I mean, from the outside, it looks like I'm a pig, but in my heart,
you're not. You're not. I mean, if we look at these old pipes that are smoked every single day, you know, they don't tell the story of their owner, so to speak. Jim, before we move on, because I know we're kind of going long up front here, are you at that point yet? I'm wondering, and this is me being a podcaster interviewing you. Are you at that point where, like, has that cycle started to end for you, or are you still? And I know as collectors, we're all giddy when a new pipe comes. But I'm wondering if you're at that point, like you've realized that pipe is just a pipe, man. They all do the same thing.
Yeah, they do. Where I'm enamored of the pipe community and the artisans in it and the relationships. So, when I started with pipes, Simon from LCS and Corey from ABBS Pipes and Richard from EP, and I got my first Smith House, about 9 months ago, and it's the same thing. I thought, well, this is a little small. It's really not in my wheelhouse. Oh, and we're out of Fireball. Yeah.
There's an echo in that bottle.
Yes.
Yeah, whole lot of truth in a full one and a whole lot of lies in an empty one.
Right.
But I like the relationships that come with the pipes. I like the fact that I can call up. That's how Tim and I kind of started this podcast. We would talk once a week or once every 2 weeks, and we'd have each other laughing. And I talk to Corey Brown daily. The relationships you build, and they build something that you just think, wow, I bet that smokes like a dream. I need to find out, and working on Tim's website, I get to see all of Tim's pipes before they hit the world. And to me, it's about the relationship, but do I have Missouri Merchants?
Important part of collecting.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the I guess kind of dovetailing with what I said. It's today I'm going to smoke. Dan from Ohio Briars. I'm going to smoke his pipe today. It's I look at a pipe and I think of the person that made it.
Yeah. And it's a delivery vehicle, and I have pipes.
Do you guys have? Do you have favorite artisan pipe makers?
Yeah.
You know what? I guess I don't. There's, in a way, I kind of appreciate all of them.
Yeah.
I guess the thing, when I first started making pipes, I was, and I still do this. I'll look at pictures and pictures and pictures of pipes, trying to, get some inspiration for what I want to do next. And Simon said this when we talked to him, and I thought, maybe I'm kind of like being a little bit of a turd looking at other people's pipes and thinking I'm going to make something like that. But it's probably kind of common. You're looking for inspiration.
Pipe making's derivative. It's like podcasting. It's all derivative. Everything we do.
Yeah, right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's a normal part of our daily functions.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
It's just
I forget the point that I was trying to make.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I forget what I was going to say.
Like Kurt from Walker Pipes. I have several of his pipes, and
he's from LA, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You were asking about favorite ones.
Yeah,
and so the getting back to like looking at other pipes, and but I found that even if I try to make a pipe that looks like something that Micah from Yeti Pipes would make,
Micah Redmond,
for example, that it's gonna, I might start there, but it's gonna look like something that I made.
It'll end.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's gonna end differently, and so in knowing that, every pipe that an artisan pipe maker makes has their thumbprint, their fingerprint on it.
Absolutely.
And that's why when I say, if I pick up a pipe and go to smoke it, every time I do that, I'm sort of paying tribute to the person that made it.
I want to correct myself. You're referring not to Micah Redmond, but to Micah from Yeti Pipes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I apologize. For
Not.
that.
Yeah.
Micah Kreider.
Mm-hmm.
First pipe I bought.
I don't think they put as much beer
in
in these cans as they used to.
No, there is. You just drink it
bullshit. I don't think you're
I
right.
think
bought
that
at the
can
baby
add a
show
hole in
was
it. You know, you might
Jamaica.
want to get another one.
It's got a hole in it, all right. It's at the top going down the gullet.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. I do.
Anyways, I interrupted you. Our guest. What were
No,
you
I
saying?
was just wanting to clarify the Mike I was talking about. There's Micah
Oh,
Redmond,
okay.
who is a pipe maker, but there's Micah Kreider as well, as a completely
Yeah.
different pipe maker. And I know that's who you were referring to. It just
Yeah,
my brain is slow.
that's okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Fireball.
Yeah, it's all right. You know, whatever.
Fireball.
I have a fondness for estate pipes, simply because I like the history that comes with it. I love artisan pipes. I like, you know, I have some great Missouri Mershams. They smoke great. I've doctored them up a little bit. You know, yeah, a pipe is a pipe, and it's only as good as the guy holding it.
If you're listening to this and you're thinking to yourself, what direction should I go? Should I buy a new pipe? Should I buy an estate pipe? Start with estate pipes. Just my own personal preference, because, or start with Missouri Meerschaum, Brian, a corncob pipe.
Mm-hmm.
But you do spend a whole lot less money on estate pipes, and there are tons of estate pipe resellers out there that. There you go. It's a perfect example of one.
Yeah. So this is
we were talking about this. Somebody wrote in. Was it last week, Jim? Somebody wrote in, and that's that exact question. Where do I start? And you know, the sort of the consensus was, you know, go cheap on the pipe, and spend your money trying tobaccos. Figure out what your palate is and what you like, and then once you get there, then start expanding the footprint on your pipes.
Jay and I did an episode called The New Pipe Smoker, and all I don't recall everything in that. I'm pretty sure we recommended Missouri Meerschaum corn cobs if you wanted to go the briar route, Bones pipes, because you know, Chris and his Bones pipes revolutionized the inexpensive, I'm not going to say high quality pipe, but long lasting pipe. You can smoke those things till the end of time, and they'll keep going for $50.
Yeah.
you know, we talked about this last episode. You know, I pulled out a couple of pipes. So this, what I just showed you guys, is an estate Dr. Graybo freehand that I got for $20. And, you know, I have some tools, shined it up, cleaned it out, ready to go. You know, if you want to buy something brand new, you know, and you want to keep it under $40, can't go wrong with a Graybo. They'll smoke.
No,
They'll
absolutely
work.
not. The very first pipe I ever purchased was a Dr. Graybo. I bought it at Amazon. I had no idea what I was doing. Didn't even buy Tamper. And I hated that pipe because I had no idea what I was doing. It's no reflection on the brand. The brand has been around for decades, right? I'm not going to say centuries, but maybe 100+ years. And they are a good brand at the price point.
Yeah.
I need to go back. Jay and I need to do an episode on, let's just go to our local grocery store or Rexall stores that no longer exist and buy a $1.49, which would probably be $14.99 now, maybe even more, Dr. Graybo, and smoke it for a month to see how things go. I think that would be an interesting episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yep. And, you know, I tell everybody the same thing. Get your first pipe. It doesn't matter what you get. You know, if you want to be silly and spend $500, great. I don't recommend that. But, you know, pick up a pipe and buy 3 different types of tobaccos. The main problem most people have when they start pipe smoking is they immediately run and they grab an aromatic. You know, I really like the way this smells.
That's the wrong decision.
Yeah, and they're the hardest. I think that they're hard for me to smoke, and I don't smoke them very often.
There's some incredible aromatics. You just got to be really careful about what you choose to buy.
Yeah.
If it smells like fruit, if a fruit is in the name of the aromatic, stay away from it.
Yeah.
Just don't do it.
Grape.
Yeah.
That's a good example. Apple pie, peach cobbler.
Cherry, anything.
Stay away from those.
Yeah.
Stink.
Like any of the Lane sort of more mild aromatics are generally a good choice. Autumn Evening from Cornell and Deal is a fantastic choice, right? If I'm not mistaken, it's sort of a maple vanilla-y aromatic.
Yep.
Those are ones you're really going to enjoy. If it's got apple pie, cherry pie, if it's got lemon pie, anything related to baked goods, stay away from.
Stay. Some of that stuff, though, like how I was going to say when you're a kid, it happens well beyond when you're a kid, but like, you get that, the throw up drunk, and then the next day you smell whatever it was you were drinking.
That's disgusting, dude. That's disgusting.
Terrible.
Yeah.
But that's the way, like some of that cherries, that it's just so like thick, heavy stink. You get it on your hands, wherever it touches, it sticks, and you
There
smell
really
it
are
forever.
some great cherry blends out there. You just got to be careful about what you buy. And if you buy, like, I'm going to recommend if you want to go down that like cherry chocolate aromatic route, buy in bulk, get 1 ounce samples, and make your own opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. The problem with those things, though, is they're goopy and sticky, and they gum up your they gum up your pipe and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah,
but like everybody, to their own. Each to their own, I suppose.
and if you're going to learn pipe smoking cadence, so that you get it right, aromatic is hard. You're going to get tongue bite. That's just inherent in the sugar content in it.
If you're starting out, I'm not going to recommend, and I think you guys may or may not agree with me, do not start with an aromatic.
Nope.
You could venture into them maybe after you've tried some Virginias or some Burleys or some Englishes, but don't go for the apple pies. It's just not going to work out for you, and it's going to turn you off to what could be like an addiction, a positive, fun journey for you could turn disastrous based on the very first tobaccos I bought with my Dr. Graybo. I went to what was the name of that website? I can't remember. Cigars.com? No, pipesandscigars.com. And I bought their aromatic pack. It was 6 different flavors. One was like apple, pineapple, peach cobbler, like the worst flavor you could imagine. I made that mistake.
Yeah,
I made that mistake.
The tongue bite sampler. Yeah, perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
I paid for it dearly.
Sure.
Luckily, I started to get involved with the Instagram community, right? And say what you will about the media platform of Instagram. The people in it are terrific, right?
Oh.
I ended up buying a Big Ben briar pipe. It was green in color. It was a bulldog. I sure wish I still had it today and had a green stem. And I bought some Old Navy, some stuff that Pearl Jensen made. I forget the name of it. It was a Navy blend. And I loved it, even though it bit the hell out of my tongue. But it showed me that with the right pipe and the right tobacco, you can start your journey off in a positive direction.
Yeah. I'll tell you, if you're a new pipe smoker, learn to smoke Carter Hall. It's easy to smoke. It's a Burley blend. It's
Over-the-counter option. Absolutely, dude.
Yeah. And, you really have to make a mistake to get tongue bite with it. You've got to be trucking on that hard.
Like, I will tell you, stay away from Virginias, stay away from Burleys. But me saying that doesn't mean anything. That's just my personal taste. You got to try everything. Because,
well, you know what?
I just like Burleys, but one of these 2 other guys could love them, and there are reasons for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a reason why there's like 10,000 flavors.
Yeah.
The smelly ones, and you're right. Autumn Evening, of all the flavored, smelly, fragrant, aromatic tobaccos, that was the one that I could appreciate.
Sutliff makes. I know Cornell and Deal makes Autumn Evening, if my memory serves me
that's
right.
correct.
Cornell and Neil Sutliff makes some incredible, tasty aromatics like the Z70. I think it's Z71 vanilla, which is just dreamy stuff. Really good stuff.
Really?
And
Okay. I've not.
it smells like it smokes, or it smokes like it smells. Really good stuff.
Okay.
Nope.
Well,
That's not always the case, and often it's not.
Yeah.
when I was wondering, like, so what you would think about, let's say that you get somebody that's just brand new at it, and the first thing that they're going to gravitate to is something that smells like, like Uncle so and so or Grandpa used to smell or smoke this thing that smelled like,
It always
pecans
starts
or
with a memory. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And then, and they try an aromatic and, it's just tongue bite and, it's hot and all that. And, for me, for example, Jim sent me a jar of Thomas's blend. And it was right about the time that I saw this meme. It was a guy holding a sign up over his head. It was like college students, having a protest or something, and on his sign it said, "We'll trade sex for Latakia." And I was like, "You know what that is?"
I love it.
And so
I would do that right now at my age.
Yeah, sure.
Just
If I get the Latakia, you get the sex, I win.
my wife
For
comes
sure.
in with Sunset Harbor Flight, and she says, "You only get this if." I'm in.
I'm good. Call it good.
I'm good. Call it. Yeah.
This isn't going to last long for either one of us. So good.
I got 30 seconds for you.
Who are you going to please with that little thing? Me.
yeah.
So,
Let's see
but
if I can
anyway,
make it to the bell. Oh, 9 seconds this time. You're doing
sure.
good.
Oh well. So anyway, yeah, it's like, oh, all done. There ain't that roast beef left, dear. But I had that Thomas's blend, and it's front-loaded Latakia, and I liked it immediately. And then it was about the same time that I saw that meme, and I thought, I wonder what that is, So I got some of that and I tried it. So my question is like, for somebody that's like brand new, and again, everybody's palate's different, but like, where would you direct somebody, to try, don't necessarily go to the aromatics, but go maybe in this range over here, What do you think? Like Englishes?
Oh, so
I don't know, Jim. I'll let you go first.
if I'm going to hand somebody tobacco, I'm going to hand them a vapor. So it's Virginia's and Perique, probably a little burley in it. I'm going to hand them an English, and I'm going to hand them a Balkan. And the reason for that is 2 of the 3, the English and the Balkan, are very easy to smoke with a bad cadence. Latakia keeps the tongue bite down to a minimum. Now, some people don't like Latakia, some people don't like Perique. It's just going to matter on your taste. But if you're learning how to smoke something that's forgiving. Okay? And then the magic of Virginia's is why you have a Virginia Perique.
Yeah.
And when I went to the Tinderbox in Palm Springs, the lady handed me Acadian Perique, she handed me Westminster, and she handed me a blend that I've long since forgotten. And, the first time I smoked Westminster, I'm like, oh, what's this? This is an English one? Okay, this is where I'm home. And then I had Acadian Perique, and it's like, oh, this is the best blend I've ever had. And, don't be afraid to take a chance. If you see something that sounds interesting, don't go by reviews, because reviews are just that.
Yeah, reviews. I've never had any luck with reviews, ever.
No, you really can't. You can't depend on what someone else thinks about a particular blend. That's why Jay and I, we straight up just don't review. We don't put a number to a blend. It's just dumb to do so.
I was on Smoking Pipes in 2019, and they had a sale on Savinelli tobaccos. Okay, well, I like Savinelli pipes. And I tried Asenza Cipriata, which is the poorest rated blend out of anything that I have in my cellar. And I absolutely love it. It fits my palate perfectly. Take chances. Don't, but just
what I would say is reach out to veteran pipe smokers more so than anything else. But I mean, maybe not guys have been doing this for 40 years, because they're they can tend to be opinionated on the blends that they smoke. But guys that have been doing it for long enough to like lead you down that right road, like I would never tell anybody, oh, you got to have English and nothing else because it's dumb. Like I predominantly smoke English blends because Sunset Harbor Flake, while it's not an English blend, it can be confused as an English blend. It's a Balkan. But for me, I would say go to smokingpipes.com because I'm a gold member. I don't make any money off this, but choose one or two blends from the Virginia line of tobaccos. Choose one or two blends from the Latakia line of tobaccos. Choose one or two blends from burley, not necessarily heavy tobaccos, but tobaccos with burley in them, and Perique. And then choose a couple of what you'll hope to be light aromatics. Don't choose anything with pies, cakes, or candies in them because they're usually garbage. And buy 1 ounce samples of each. And then try each of them on separate days. Don't smoke your Virginia, your Latakia, and your chocolate cherry back to back to back because that's not going to work for you.
Oh yeah, you're
Smoke
just
them on
you're
different
confusing
days.
your tongue.
You're right. And take notes. Notes are super important to take in any kind of notepad, on your computer, on your phone, and just record your thoughts and then look back on those. And you'll eventually figure out what you really like.
Taking notes sounds curiously close to goals and objectives, and that's something that Jim and I are completely against. Sorry.
Okay, because you guys are kind of
Assholes.
I prefer dicks with feet. So
You guys are kind of dicks with feet.
We gotta get one of those. We gotta get one of those, Jim.
Yeah, I have a spreadsheet.
You guys are kind of assholes with dicks. Little teeny dicks that make you stutter.
You know, I have a spreadsheet that I tracked every bowl I smoked for a 2-year period. And I have notes of every tobacco I've ever smoked. Because
Jim, I didn't know that about you. I don't know if we can be friends anymore.
I know, it's okay. But
I will say, I recommend notes, and I'll be 100% honest with you. I've never taken a note in my life on tobaccos, but I think it's really important that newer pipe smokers do just that, because oftentimes we're smoking. There are thousands and thousands of choices when it comes to tobacco, especially now that the FDA has sort of lightened up with the rules and regulations, right? That's why we're seeing so many different blends from Sutliff, from Cornell and Deal, from McBaron, from like all the big manufacturers. Take notes because you're going to forget from one day to another on what you're smoking. And if I were to go back to 2016 when I picked up a pipe for the first time, those notes would have been so beneficial for me, but I've never done that. But I recommend that everybody does who's starting in this hobby.
You know, here's another interesting thing too is this was two maybe 3 years ago at the Columbus Pipe Show. There was a guy that had just those Rubbermaid totes, big totes. It was probably 10-gallon size, and it was full of these tins. It was a Balkan blend. I don't even remember what it was, but they were $5 a piece. So what the hell, So I bought a couple of tins of it. My brother bought a couple of tins of it. And I thought, I don't know, I'll just, maybe I'll try it. And at $5 for a couple of ounces, or for 2 ounces, what do you care, right? So he's outside and he's smoking this out of this tin that he bought. He goes, "This stuff is delicious. Try it." So I had some of his. That was the best, and you can't. It was discontinued. I don't even remember who made it. Just gone, and at $5 for a 2 ounce tin of it, and you can't find it anymore. It was a Balkan blend, if I remember right. Yeah.
One of the things you can do, you can go on Smoking Pipes, and they have the best-selling list. And you can pull up best-selling English, and you can pull up best-selling vapors, and you can pull up best-selling blends, period, and take a look. There's a reason why they're best-selling. Best-selling means that more people like it. They may not all be for you, but it's another way to, go about it. So
yeah, coincidentally, I'm on that website right now because I was trying to remember the name of one of my favorite. And you would think it was one of my favorite. I would know it right away, right? Because I've been through a lot of tobaccos, but we don't want to turn you off to aromatics because there are some tremendously good aromatics out there. But if you're new and you want to try a flavored tobacco, I'm going to recommend Blood Red Moon Cult tobacco.
Yeah, it's got a cherry tin note,
It
but
does.
it's not overbearing. And it's a very mild tobacco.
Exactly. It's got this like dark and rich blend of fired cured Cavendish, bright Virginias and Burleys, heady with the aroma of royal and cherry. And I'm reading that obviously from the Smoking Pipes description. But it's tobacco I still keep on my shelf over here, and that says a lot. And I mean, if you understand and would have seen my cellar.
Yeah. I have 2 aromatics in my cellar. I love Captain Black Original. Easy to smoke.
It's really good, dude.
Yeah, I really like it, and
Like
I find
Is that the gold? Is that the gold
no,
one?
that's
or
the
is
white
that
one. The
different?
white one.
Oh, but
White
the
one.
gold
Okay.
good too, and that's the
Yeah.
stuff you mentioned earlier. Like my grandfather smoked. I remember smelling the aromas of my grandfather's. Like you could almost guarantee your grandfather at one point smoked a Captain Black tobacco.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then the other one is Blue Note from Dan Tobacco.
Interesting.
And I
Blue
have
Note.
a preference to European aromatics versus American because they don't overindulge on the toppings on the European
Have you
thing.
tried any of the Silums blends?
I do. I have a couple of the Silums.
Oh my God, they're so good. Every one of them.
I picked some up last time I was at Edwards in Edgewood, and I thought it was fantastic.
Like
and,
Silums Black, Silums Blue, Silums Red. Those are just really good, high quality aromatic tobaccos. And if you're going to go for aromatics, why not go for the high quality stuff?
yeah. If you can buy a pound of it for $14, I promise you've got a bag full of tongue bites.
Versus a tin of Sunset Harbor Flake for $13.
Right.
Buy the aromatic.
Exactly. And this is why Tim and I don't do reviews, is because I've come to realize that everybody's palate is so different that my opinion on it isn't going to sway anyone. So
it
really
doesn't
don't
matter. It's just your opinion.
Yeah. And
I'm glad you guys have gone that route because Jay and I, when Jay came on board, we decided not to do that. We'll talk about a blend, whether we like it or not, and we'll promote a blend. But we will not put a number or a rating on that blend because it's unfair to anyone else who might want to try it.
Well, not only that, your tongue is fickle because you can.
My tongue is
have
very busy. It's very busy. My tongue is.
You can have a blend today that's just delicious, and tomorrow it's like you're eating the ass out of a dead elephant. It's terrible.
Whoa.
Hey, Bud, what's
You know
your
what I
problem?
mean?
yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea what you mean.
You know what I mean.
No.
I know you know what I mean.
We're 9 beers deep, kids. Here we go. We are officially off the rails. Yeah. A full bottle of Fireball. Yeah.
We've been at this. We've been at this about 2 hours.
We probably should move forward.
Well, look, but here's what I was going to suggest. This is probably one of the best conversations we've had about tobaccos, broad-ranging, wide-ranging. If you'd be amenable to doing this again sometime soon, we could have part Dukes.
I am available to you guys at absolutely any time, as long as I'm not playing World of Warcraft in a 40-man raid, because that takes priority over some stupid.
Leroy Jenkins.
I'm available at any time. Jim and I talk frequently, so
Yeah.
anytime. I am by no means an expert, but I'm 8 years into the hobby, I think now, and you know,
no, it's good to have the
I know a
conversation.
little teeny bit, but not a lot. And if y'all want someone who knows more, I can probably make that happen.
All right.
You know, maybe we bring Jay on, and we'll just have Pipe and Tamper.
No, I
and
wasn't. Here's what I think of Jay.
Jay is a self-indulged butthole.
Oh, don't hide your feelings.
Jim.
Mike. Come on out and speak your mind. You know, just tell us the truth.
Jim, we got to get one of those things.
Oh, I have it. I have one. I bought it from Mike, and do you know what I've done with it since I bought it from Mike?
Zero.
I put it in the closet and thought, "Hey, Mike says I want to walk you through how using it." And I'm like, "Okay, cool."
I have offered several times to help him hook it up, but I think maybe it's look, these mixers can be a little intimidating.
No, we're going to do it this week. I have free time.
No, I'm busy this week, but go ahead.
Yeah, all right, fine. I'll just have Jay teach me how to set it up.
You know, I'm available for you always.
All right, but I think I would like to do, you know, and just continue on and do it again next week, and we'll just talk about pipe tobaccos.
In all honesty, I am absolutely available whenever you guys need me to come on.
Let's do it next time. I mean, why not pack to back them? Be easier.
Yeah,
How about that?
That's fine. If you guys want to chat again in a week, I'm here for you.
all right.
Because we have to find guests, you know, every week, and
Right now you're at the bottom of your
we're
list.
out.
If
I
I'm
know,
on,
we're out.
If I'm on, you're almost out. When Jay's on, that means you're fucking out.
We're out. That's
Well,
right.
we thought, you know, when we were first starting, we would book all these guests out way in advance, like 10, 12
booking
weeks out.
sucks, dude.
Now, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Jim, a friend came in from out of town. I got a flat tire." You know,
Dude, the worst thing about podcasting in my 13 years of podcasting is trying to keep up with guests. It's
And-
not easy, and you have to be dedicated. You guys have done a tremendous job. I also think you're past the honeymoon phase.
We're
in the
past the
sense
what?
that
The honeymoon phase. Mhm.
where you're
Oh, yeah.
excited to talk to
Oh,
everybody.
yeah.
And it will get, hopefully it will never get so tiring to the point to where you want to give it up. Because there are some tremendous people out there, extremely knowledgeable people out there. Jay and I have had some amazing guests on the Pipe and Tapper podcast, and you guys will start to feed into those particular people down the road.
Mhm. Yep.
And you
Well,
should.
the
Something
nice
you
thing
have
about
to-
having a low overhead operation, or I'm sorry, no overhead operation is, you know, like the where the like, you know, you just drop the mic and walk away.
That's it. You're done.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
Pretty
what
much.
you do. One day you're just like, yeah, fuck it, we're done.
And I know I'm at the bottom of the list, so you guys are going to have to start over.
Oh, shit.
And I don't mind being the bottom of the list.
Oh,
My whole
stop.
life I've been at the bottom of the list.
Actually, Rich Epley's at the bottom of the list because
Oh yeah, Rick. Fuck that guy.
he equated
I don't know who he
the
is.
song
Brown-Eyed
"Brown Eyed
Girl.
Girl" with
Oh, yeah.
"Brown-Eyed Girl" with sodomy. So it doesn't get worse than that.
Wow, that is so incorrect.
Would you say it's what incorrect?
So
So
incorrect.
incorrect. It's not even remotely in the same ballpark.
You and I.
He's from
Brown-Eyed
Bardstown,
Girl.
Tennessee.
That is a beautiful.
He's from Bardstown, Tennessee.
It's a
Kentucky.
beautiful the love song for a guy from shithole Tennessee to Demean.
He said.
I have
said
no
that.
idea who he is.
So what do you guys do for fun down there in Bardstown, Tennessee? He says, on Friday nights we drink, and he says that if you got a chainsaw, it gets better.
Have you guys ever heard the term the whispering eye?
No.
No.
It's the vagina. That's for future use.
Oh, okay. Good.
Thank you.
Hang on.
I'll take that with me.
We probably should
Into the
move
future.
on. We probably should move on to the other segments of the podcast.
All right. So,
The whispering eye.
Bud, what's your problem?
oh, next up, Angry Beaver. All right. Moving right along.
Bud, what's your problem?
All right. So this is where we do questions for the show. And I know, Tim, you got a question from Lance, and I got a question from Lance.
Do
I got
get an
a
opportunity
cramp
to
in my
answer-
stomach. I'm laughing.
Do I get an opportunity to answer the questions?
Oh yeah,
You
that's
can.
why you're. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I would love to.
Here, let me read mine from my iPad before the battery runs out. This is from Lance Sawyer. Sawyer? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It says, "Evening, Tim. Hope you had a great week. Thank you, Lance. I did. Pipes are looking solid. Well, thank you, Lance.
I told you
The
they were.
interview- I don't know why I don't believe you, but
There's truth in
now
what I
that
say.
he's reinforced it, yeah. So, interview with Ian Fisher was really cool, which I agree. He says, I was curious. The blowfish shape that you all were talking about, I know that there are some rules to making some classic shapes. A blowfish seems to offer some free rein for the carver, but I feel like there must be some sort of parameters. What rules or guidance would you offer a young or beginning carver that wants to explore the blowfish shape?
Can I
And
answer that?
What the heck is fugu? Yeah, you please.
Wait,
please.
fugu?
Yeah. Well, it's the fugu blowfish. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say the blowfish shape is different for every individual carver. It means something different to every carver. They all have their different versions of the blowfish. So why do the blowfishes always sort of look similar? Because it's a shape, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's all I have to say.
Yes. Okay. Well, here's what I was. Oh, and let me go on. He says, anywho, thanks for the show. Look forward to each new episode. One more thing, and this is for everybody, all three of us. Knee-high orange soda or Fanta?
Oh, knee-high.
Knee-high.
100%.
Yeah, it's not
Knee-high
even close.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, Lance.
And if I'm African American, grape.
I don't think so. Orange.
I'm just saying that's an option.
Oh,
okay. I do identify as an African American midget.
6'4" white
Because
guy.
you-
Yeah.
because you own a set of Moroccos.
Possibly.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I'm curious about what your answer is on the blowfish, Tim.
well,
Because it's shaped
I've
different variety
looked at, and it's one that I've been working on. Incident, and I posted a stumble that I'm near completing, and I put it on Instagram today because I think I'm getting closer to a blowfish shape that I like. And I think what I'm going to do now. Let me back up a little bit. You got your free hand, and then freehand shaping, and then where they drill it after they've gotten done shaping it. So all they do is they just follow the grain to create the pipe, stummel, and then they drill it after they've created the shape. I don't do that because I'm okay, but I'm not that good. And so but there is a method that I have to creating a blowfish, and I think what I'm going to do is it'd be easier to show it than to explain it. And so I'm going to do a video, and I'm going to post it to my YouTube channel showing the blowfish shape that I've made, that I think that I like, that I've landed on, and then I'm going to show how I made that. And
have you made a lot of blowfishes, Tim?
I have, but and every time, each iteration, it gets closer to one that I like. Here's the process.
That's what I was going to ask.
I'm working on a pipe, and I shaping it, and I get this feeling like, hey, I really like how this is turning out. And then, and I follow it to its logical conclusion, and it's just kind of, it's good. It's going to smoke great and all that, but the shape for me, I'd be like really, really proud of it if it looked a little different. And so the next one, because a lot of times when you shape these things, once you're done, you're committed. You can't really go back.
Sure.
You can't add
Sure.
wood or anything like that. And so the one that I posted on Instagram today, that's far closer to the final product that I would like to continue to make.
But you don't think you're quite there yet in terms of what you're 100% happy with?
I'm very, very close.
Oh,
Very,
that's
very
awesome.
close.
That's a great progression
So
for you then.
the next one, if I get it right, I'll be wringing out, trying to squeeze out the last 2-3%.
Because I think if you ask a lot of other pipe makers, like, where are you with your blowfish? Are you happy with it? And I'm just guessing here. I'm guessing a lot of them would say, I'm close, but I'm not happy with it.
Yeah. Well, anytime you make a pipe, you can look
It's
at
a really
it and
hard
you can.
shape to achieve perfectly.
It is. Well, because and the problem is that it's
Like, what
it's,
is perfect, right?
the lines have to flow together, and you've got the sort of the fanning of the grain on the what would it be, on sort of the outside radius of the pipe. You've got the fanning of the grain, and then you've got the curve of it, and it has to go with the way that the grain fans, and everyone's going to be different, but you sort of have the basic shape that
It's kind
you
of
try
hard
to
to
hold
explain
to.
what a blowfish is, right?
Yeah. Well,
Because for every pipe maker, I think it's different.
and if you look in nature at the way that a fish moves in the water,
Yeah.
there's a what would you call it? An undulating type movement to it, and that's what the pipe is supposed to look like. Is that it's
Supposed to represent
in motion?
that.
It's supposed to be in motion. Okay, and so it's not easy to achieve, but for me, I'm getting there. And with this craft, if you're ever 100% satisfied, then I think you're kind of done. I think.
Makes sense.
So yeah. So anyway,
you know-
that's how I'm going to deal with that, I think.
Yeah,
do a
I
video.
have no comments on blowfish because I think it's just artist representation of what they're trying to accomplish. It's.
Do you own any?
I don't.
I don't either. It's not a shape
It's not one that
attracted to.
I'm particularly attracted to. Yeah, that's
same
kind of where I'm at.
But it's a shape I respect, and it's also a shape that I think identifies the carver responsible for that particular pipe.
Yeah.
I was working on this particular one today, and I was thinking, who the hell would want one of these? Like, would I smoke? Would I walk around with no? But it's the making it and having it work, having the you know what I
Right.
mean? It's
absolutely.
more
I've had them in
a
the
work
past
of art than it is a functional.
than an actual pipe, right?
Yeah.
I've had them in the past, but it's not a shape that I have any of in my current collection.
Sure.
Just
No, I
because
get it.
it's not a shape I go after. I'm a super simple guy. I like a billiard. Straight up a straight billiard.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I don't have different shapes, but it means like I'm going to lean towards a billiard probably before anything else.
Sure. Something, functional.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. I also have a question from Lance, and we really appreciate you participating in the show, Lance. Thank you very much. Not sure when you guys might be recording. We typically record every Sunday night. So if you get them to me Sunday before 5 p.m., I can pretty much get them on the air. I had a question for the show. I was reading about Virginia tobaccos recently and was curious about stoved Virginias. I noticed they're much darker in color. If you could expand on the difference between stoved and air-cured Virginias, what flavors are we expecting to find? And lastly, what blends do you make that contain stoved Virginias? I have a lot of blends with stoved Virginias. Okay, the huge difference, there are air-cured Virginias, and they can be light and dark air-cured. There are flue-cured Virginias, and then there's stoved Virginias. And the process of stoving is basically taking the tobacco leaf and tearing it into smaller pieces and putting it in the oven at between 160 and 180 degrees for anywhere from 4 to 8 hours, depending on how dark you want it to be. And what you get is a sweeter, milder Virginia out of it. Now, a lot of the stove Virginias that are out there will also perhaps have a casing on it that they put on before it, and typically you will get a sweet vanilla taste out of it.
Did you say of the three, the other one's a flue
Cured. Mm-hmm. So what they do...
Flue cured.
Yep, flue cured is they are using heat from a flue to cure the tobacco, and it makes the it speeds up the aging process for the tobaccos. Now, all of the whole leaf that I get is flue cured because I just love the taste of it. And air cured and flue cured, you're going to get more of the hay, grassy notes when the leaf is young, and then it mellows out over time and gives you different flavors. So like lemon leaf Virginia actually has a slight citrusy taste to it that mellows out over the years. There's red Virginias. Bright Virginias tend to be a bit more sharp, as it were, and I think most people that know their Virginias, reds are kind of the king of Virginias. That's
so the flue cured though is the tobacco is not at the heat source but near the flue where the warm air is passing over it.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And
Right.
it will darken up a leaf a little bit, not like stoved, because stoved, when it's done correctly, is almost black. It can be like a medium brown, but it's typically black.
Okay.
So, keep grinding with the show. I look forward to each new episode. Thank you. Last question, one more thing. Ranch or blue cheese with wings?
Oh, blue cheese for me. Yeah, easy. Mm-hmm.
I don't eat wings, but if I did, blue cheese.
Okay. Well, you've heard from the two heathens. If you can't eat the wing by itself, then why are you eating it?
I thought that was the options you had, either ranch or blue cheese.
Yeah,
Blue cheese
I
is
don't.
the manly.
It was posed incorrectly.
Yeah,
Incompletely.
ranch or blue cheese. No, I like wings for being wings, and spicier the better.
But we were given that option.
Well, I understand, but you have to think on your feet, Tim. This is a podcast.
Like if you gave me the option of either without the meat, like blue cheese or ranch, what would you choose? Blue cheese.
Blue cheese.
Right, sure.
Across all sort of food categories.
Yeah,
Right. There you
ranch
go.
is just like the most.
Come on, Tim, grow up. This is a podcast.
Yeah, come on, Tim.
Grow up, he says.
People aren't taking this shit seriously. Give me a break.
Grow up there.
Jim, you're an old man with a gray beard. Act like it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Hey, I got this. Is that it for the questions? Ask me anything.
Yeah, that was.
God,
it.
I hope so.
Yeah.
All right, here I got a comment from Third Coast Piper. Just listen to the rest of their flat cap episode. I have two things to say. One, I heard nobody cries when eating bacon. After boot camp, some people on the base. Wait a minute. Well, after boot camp, I met some people on the base, and we went to IHOP, and I could swear we were crying with joy after eating real bacon again. And then number two, you guys are assholes, but the good kind, and I love it. When you get two good assholes together. Oh, that doesn't sound right. Two good assholes together, you can be assured that you'll get great entertainment. Keep doing what y'all are doing. Love the show. That was Third Coast Piper.
What a
sweet,
generous guy he is.
Yeah, he's a super guy.
Yeah, calling you guys.
I don't know him. Oh, yeah. But when he said, put two assholes together, I don't think so.
That's
I don't know.
that's not a section of
That's like
X-Hamster or
lesbian sex.
Pornhub we're going to get
It's
to.
lesbian sex for men.
There you go. All right. I do have some comments from last episode. Simple Georgian, Willie Lee. Awesome show. I really enjoy listening to Raphael and Anit's channel. I met them this year at the Muletown Pipe Show. Had an awesome time with them. Look forward to future episodes. Thank you, Willie Lee. Blake's
I'll tell you what, some of the food YouTube videos she puts up.
Oh, did
Good
you see
stuff.
she just put one out with the lobster ravioli?
Yeah, the lobster. Oh yeah.
Lady Fire.
Mike.
I'm shutting my mouth on this
There
one.
we go. Yeah.
All right.
Lobsters, women, like anytime there's a seafood reference and a woman involved, I just shut up. I clamp up.
Yep. Nope. We can be banned for other things. Let's not go there.
Let's please be
I
banned for
appreciate her
other things.
opinion and accept her expertise.
Okay, moving on. Moving on.
Blake Pipes, the best couple in the YTPC, hands down. They are wonderful to interact with and watch as they both put on a great video. Great show. And the sad video part of them was not recoverable. Thanks for 2 hours of entertainment, and could have been 4 hours, and I would have listened and watched the entire thing.
I just want to apologize for this episode ahead of time.
It's too late. We're 3 hours in. We're good.
Yeah, we're 3 hours
Apologizing
in.
now. Yeah.
You're fucked now.
We're only 2 hours in, according to my timer.
Oh,
But
okay. That's true.
I apologize that I exist.
Oh.
I apologize that I exist.
Terry Brewster, great show as usual.
What's up, Terry?
Terry. Flat Cap and Lady Fire were.
Hey, Jim, you got to come to Vegas because you're going to meet Terry if you do.
Yeah, and we can watch Tim have a salad, so that'll be fun.
Oh my. We had a riot though.
I got
on the plane on the way back, and this lady kept trying to talk to me, and
That's the worst.
so my plane left at like 1, but I didn't. Terry and I didn't show up at the. Like we got done with the evening, and we saw Jay Mouton out having a cigarette at 6 a.m., and we didn't realize that like a whole day had passed.
Dude, let me tell you something. The first night of Vegas, like, I think it was Thursday night.
Yeah.
What did we do the interview? Was it Thursday or Friday?
Friday.
Anyway, I forget what night it was because it's all a blur. It was me, Fred Hanna, Nate King, Greg Pease. I don't think I went to bed till like 8 a.m. the next morning. I was so blasted. I don't know how these old guys keep up.
This lady on the plane kept trying to talk to me, and I looked at her and I said, "I'm sorry." I said, "I'm not trying to be rude, but I was a bad boy." I said, "I'm just gonna like just be quiet if you don't mind." Didn't stop her.
No, of course not. Talkers will keep talking.
Haters gonna hate. Talkers
They
gonna talk.
don't shut up, man.
Sorry, go ahead.
This is where having a second language comes in handy. Yo no sé nada. And just
You know, see. You know, see.
yo no sé nada. So Terry said, great show as usual. Flat Cap and Lady Fire were great guests. I've got a lot of Speakeasy Navy blend. There's no deer tongue in it. It's crooner that I was thinking of, not Speakeasy. And Terry pointed out, were you thinking of crooner maybe? Wow, this vegan guy is out there. Maybe he needs some deer tongue. Alan's kind of special. Richard Bro,
I know.
another great show. Always enjoy Flat Cap and Lady Fire. I was surprised when you mentioned Where's Joe Merchant. I also read it once a year along with The Confederacy of Dunces by John Kennedy Toole. Excellent choices. Yusuf Syed, always a commenter on the show. Good evening. Awesome show as usual. Nice guests. Flat Cap and Lady Fire. Thanks for bringing awareness to Pipe Week. Have a great day and greetings from South Africa. Thank you, sir.
So is there any way we can get Yusuf Syed on the podcast? That guy sounds really cool.
he is he probably not, because he's actually wholesome and nice, and we're pricks.
Do you speak Turkey?
No, he's from South Africa. I
Well,
don't
same thing.
same thing. We're Americans. We don't even Turkey, isn't that in Africa? No, not really. But
We don't give a shit. We refer to everybody as you people.
You people.
exactly.
Like, I don't know if that's racist or not. Like,
Yeah.
if
Maybe.
if it's everybody, it's not racist.
Yeah.
You people, how dare you? I'm Irish.
Yeah.
Everything's racist now.
Yeah. Well, I'm just embracing it at this point. Piper X1X. Really enjoyed this show, guys. Hope you're going to make a scarecrow for Pipe Week.
I like that you guys do feedback.
You do or don't?
Embracing the community and the people that will listen to you. It's great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks.
Thank you. They take the time to write a comment and
You might as
comment on
well
it.
read it.
Yeah.
We read it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's up
we
to-
don't. We don't give a shit about our community.
Yeah, I understand. I have never had any problems with Innerdale ghosting. Have a great rest of the week. Okay.
Interesting.
What?
Yeah.
I missed that.
Innerdale. It's a blend. Innerdale. It's a Lakeland blend.
Oh, okay. All right.
Your pipe up like no one's business.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
Clearly, he is a fan of it.
I thought it was like
Yeah.
ghosting, like not answering
Ghostbusters.
somebody,
Like
No.
Ghostbusters, like Dan Aykroyd.
yeah.
like ignoring someone.
Yeah. No.
That's
Different
The,
type of-
that's the common
Type
parlance.
of listing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't smoke cherry blend, because when you've redone 100 estate pipes and you find that guy that smoked cherry out of his pipe, that does not come out.
It doesn't come out ever.
No, I've soaked them in
It'll
alcohol
always
for
be
a week.
there.
Yeah. No, now it's light cherry. Oh, good. My neighbor likes those pipes. I sell them to him. Blake Pipes again commented, I am your biggest vegetarian supporter. Glad Alan is a vegan. They're crazy. Trust me. PETA headquarters is in my town, and you can always tell who works there as they look very pale and underweight.
What
Alan's
does PETA have to do with vegetarianism? Nothing.
people eating tasty animals. Look, people sometimes are just as hammered as we are, when they're commenting. So we just roll with it. We're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I'm not going to even question it.
Yeah. Alan sounds like a hoot to hang out with. Another great show, Big Meat and Salad Shooter. All right. And then
Wait, big meat and salad shitter?
Shooter. Nobody shits big
I'm
with
never gonna.
salad.
This is the
The segment
You know,
that
Bill-
never dies.
build 1,000 bridges and nobody will ever call you a bridge builder. Eat one salad. And you're a salad shooter the rest of your life.
And then from episode 39, which was our episode with Wilson from Spurgeon Piper, Steel Valley Piper. Great episode, guys, and great conversation with Wilson. It's very cool that your father was from Pittsburgh, Jim, and that you're a Pirates fan. I grew up 30 minutes north of Pittsburgh, and hearing about RC 3000 made my day. Great idea by you.
Jim, you're a Pirates fan?
Yep. Have
Who's
been
your
my whole-
favorite Pirates player of all time?
Roberto Clemente.
Oh, yeah.
You
Of
truly
course.
are a Pirates fan.
Yeah.
How did Mr. Clemente pass away?
He was taking
plane crash.
earthquake victims humanitarian aid, and his plane went down.
You really are a Pirates fan. Good for you, buddy.
Yeah, my dad used to take us to games, and I actually got to see Clemente play, and he had a cannon for an arm.
You know who I got to see play against Clemente? Willie Mays.
Ooh.
That was a great face-off.
Yes,
I'm
wonderful.
so old. I'm so fucking old.
Did you ever see Barry Bonds hit a ball out into the bay?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
multiple times. Being from
Steroids is something.
San Francisco. Steroids is amazing when you're playing baseball.
Yeah.
Okay.
Never convicted. Never
Stop.
convicted.
Stop.
Still
Tell
the
me
home run
how
leader.
a steroid is going to help you hit a round ball pitched from 60 feet away with a round bat.
The same way Viagra gives your dick a hard on and allows you to score with a hottie.
He's got a point there.
No, it's okay. Next up on things Mike's wrong about, we'll cover.
That's a long list.
Yeah, oh look,
He says-
I've got 5 inches of wood here that I can cut a brick with. Yeah, that's not helping me.
You guys are too much. Holy shit, I've been on here way too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tim, what's new in your collection this week?
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I've had this elaborate. This is a
It's a mirror show.
Ishmael Tellamy made this.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty. It's a eagle's claw.
Yeah.
It's an eagle claw, and I've had this thing. It was buried in a drawer. I am going to smoke this week, and I am going to do a video smoking this brand new. I got to smoke it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna, because I had it here and I'm thinking, this is too elaborate for me. But I'm not giving it to anybody because it's just too nice. And so I'm gonna fuck it. I'm gonna smoke it. Why not?
All right. There you go. Good for you.
That's what I'm
One
gonna
I
do.
can show.
Yeah. So this week,
I'll show you my newest pipe if I can go next.
yeah, go ahead. What you got?
Give my buddy a proper plug. Hang on.
No worries.
I bought this in January, and it's the only pipe I bought all year.
Oh,
look-
I know that's
oh,
a Neil
yeah.
Monet, isn't it?
It is a Neil Monnier.
Yeah, he makes
Sort of
some
a
dandy
Danish
pipes,
style
man.
bent billiard.
Gorgeous.
Beautiful pipe, and if you've not purchased a pipe from Neil, just hit him up on Instagram at Garage Made Pipe Tools.
Mm-hmm.
We were
I
gonna
wanted to
have him
contribute
on,
something.
and what happened? What happened? We didn't have him on. Oh,
the
he moved
landlord-
his. He moved his. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Oh yeah, he lied to you. He lied to you.
Did he?
He's like, I'm moving.
He didn't.
Whatever they call a hang up.
Never responded to any of our future messages, huh?
Yeah, he didn't have to move his shop. He just moved his house.
Yeah.
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 So this week in What's New, I made a trade with Craig Herzog, Conewago Customs. He does woodworking. And I was talking to him, and he says, I need to get some tobacco. And I said, okay, well, let's make a trade. And he says, what are you looking for? I said, well, I saw one of your pens, and I really liked it. I want you to make me a pen. And he said, okay, deal. So in the mail Thursday, I got the tobacco pipe. And I posted this on Instagram, and it is absolutely fantastic. It's Latakia and Burley and some Oriental, and it's just the coolest pipe, or the coolest pen I've ever had. And it takes...
Wait a minute. What are you talking about? Latakia and what?
Burley. It's a pin.
It's a pen.
It's a pen.
But he made this material is tobacco put into
It's
the mold.
infused with tobacco.
Oh, he put it into a rod.
Yeah, made a rod out of it.
No
Wow.
shit.
Yep.
Awesome.
And my
Hold
son...
that up there again. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the camera, please. Wow.
So that was
Huh,
really...
I'll be a son of a bitch.
Yeah.
So he cast tobacco in a resin rod.
Yep. And now I have the tobacco pen, and it is killer. And as a bonus, he said, I know you got this pipe from Richard at EP Pipes, and it's a glow-in-the-dark stem. And, Richard always makes just really unusual pipes. They're just, and this one caught my eye, and I traded Richard some tobacco for it.
He does have an unusual flair.
He does.
He does.
Yeah. And
You
so...
should drink with the guy.
Yeah.
And you have?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Tim has. He's still looking for a liver donor. So Craig had
Rich will
more.
lap you.
Craig had more of the rod material, so he made me a pen to match the pipe, and
So that glows in the dark too.
that glows in the dark too. And then,
Turn your lights out in there. Let's see. No, I'm just joking.
well, I posted a picture of it glowing in the dark on Instagram. And then he said, I feel bad that you got ripped off, that the movers got all your, because the movers, I was going through my cellar and I thought, I seem to be light. And I went back to my spreadsheet and they got all my Orlick Golden Slice and they got all my Boswell Northwoods and a
Out
couple.
of everything they could have stolen, they
stole
took
that.
pipe tobacco.
Yeah.
Like, what are the chances
Well,
that
and I
They're
think
saving 65%.
Yeah.
Think about it.
that's a good point.
Yeah. And I think they just, missed the box or misshipped it or something happened. But it was 2 boxes. It was 48 jars of tobacco that went missing.
Wow, but that's a lot of tobacco.
Yeah. And what's
I just hope none of it was satanic panic.
No. And I
Okay,
know the guy
then-
that makes Satanic Panic. I can whip
Then
that
it doesn't
stuff.
matter.
I gotta pee.
Just
All
quit
right.
crying.
Yeah.
Quit crying, buddy.
And he said, I live about 5 miles from Boswell, so I'm going to send you some Boswell Northwoods. And he sent me a pound.
Have you tried it yet?
Northwoods? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, in my opinion, and it could be completely wrong, it's the second coming of,
Frogmorton Cellar.
Frogmorton Cellar. Yeah, it's really good.
I really enjoy it.
Like, I would rather buy a pound of Northwoods than 2 ounces of Frogmorton Cellar for $400. I'd rather buy a pound of Northwoods for, I don't know, whatever it goes for.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. And I had a pound of it in my cellar. And he replaced it. And the Orla Golden Slice was the one that really kind of torqued me off because I bought it 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's just a vapor. Come on, you can get vapors left and right out the door. Come on now.
Right. But Orla Golden Slice is much better aged. And
Sure.
it was due to be opened in January of 25.
I think Jim had to go poop right now. How was that poop, buddy?
Tim, you all right?
You
Code
were
Brown.
looking a little
Code
bit, you were
Brown.
looking a little bit stressed. We're at 2 hours and 16 minutes. Yeah, like, I gotta poop.
I'm a mathematician. I worked it out with a pencil.
With a pen filled with tobacco.
Yeah.
Hey, so I was going to ask you, that pen, does it have an aroma? Does it smell like resin?
No, just resin. It's no aroma at all.
Yeah,
That's
you should've gotten-
actually very cool, though. That
You should have
it's
got
a
an
tobacco-
aromatic, like an apple pie aromatic pen.
Yeah. Bring me some of that cherry cobbler blend. That'll be awesome.
Something that smells like, what did you call it? The something whisper?
Here, we almost
Whispering
done
eye.
here because my wife just texted me and she said she has more alcohol for me.
Yeah, I was just I have 4 estate pipes that I'm going to show you, and then we're done.
Let's see them, buddy.
Okay. So
My
this is
favorite pipes, estate pipes. That's a Dr. Grabo.
Yep, Dr. Grabo freehand.
What did you pay for that, Jim?
$20.
Where did you get it at?
Mitchell, my crack dealer, got in a whole box of them and said, some of these need work. You're going to have to touch them up.
Nice.
And I said,
Okay.
done.
Can do.
Can do. And then I got a Grand Duke in the rusticated. I have a couple of smooth Grand Dukes. And,
That's a Grabo as well, right?
yep, that's a Grabo as well. And got them cleaned up.
Dr.
And shined.
Grabo.
And like I said, if you're going to learn how to smoke a pipe, Grabo Grand Duke, you're good to go.
Don't spend a lot of money.
He's-
Spend
he's-
$20.
No.
No?
And he's a doctor.
And he's a doctor.
Plays
He's
one
not
on
really a
TV.
doctor, but
Yep. And
Oh,
this
that's
is a
nice.
Dr.
That's
Grabo
nice.
Omega.
it
And
looks like a Peterson sort of
Yeah.
a Peterson knockoff.
yep. Except I won't say. And then I
Except
got
for
a
good.
yeah. And then I got a Grabo Starfire.
Ooh, I
Which-
like that one a lot.
Yeah.
I think that one's the nicest one of the 4.
That's a pretty nice little pipe. I like that.
Yep. And they, again, they did need a little bit of work, but I don't mind. I have time and I enjoy it. And
Do you do that work yourself, Jim? A little refurb action there.
yep, that started.
$20 pipes, they're like a limp dick.
Yeah.
Can't beat it.
How?
Hey, bud, what's your problem?
That was my joke for the day. And you gave me the, hey, bud, what's your problem?
That's just not very funny. Like the joke of the day, It's just not that funny.
Do you want me to give you a joke of the day? Something that actually make you laugh?
Yeah, please.
Doctor's office gets broken into. The files are in complete disarray. They spend almost a week putting them back together, but there are 2 Mary Jones on the list. One Mary Joan has Alzheimer's, and the other Mary Jones,
Dude, this is so wrong.
has AIDS. So he calls up Tim Jones and says, "Hey Tim, I just wanted you to know the files here at the office got all mixed up. What I want you to do is take your wife to the edge of town and drop her off. If she finds her way back home, don't fuck her."
What the fuck is wrong with you guys?
We're old guys that like stupid jokes. We made an entire episode out of send us dad jokes.
Inappropriate dad joke.
I'm so glad.
Dad, why you... Dad!
One of the prerequisites was, you guys aren't going to do any stupid jokes, are you? They're all, no, we're not going to, Mike.
No,
Come on.
no.
No.
Come on in, trust us. Yeah, you fucked up. You trusted us. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Oh,
Jim with a
went
glow
black.
in a dark stem. What happened to him?
No, Jim just
There he
took his
is.
top off. He took his top off. That's why it went black.
Yeah, I'm using green screen, so sometimes we have technical difficulties.
Yeah, shoot.
Well, Mike, thank you so much. We will talk. I really want you to come back next week, and we can do part 2 of tobacco. Just talking
I
about.
just happen to be available next Sunday at the same time slot.
Perfect.
So part 2.
Let me know.
Part 2
Well,
next
we'll
week.
have our agent call your agent.
But I don't have an agent. But you only get a legitimate tobacco guy on Jeremy from C&D or any of the other real tobacco guys on Talk Tobacco.
If we asked them to come on,
Well, I'm
they would
not
just sneeze at us.
slighted at all in any way, shape, or form.
And I'm your guy. As inaccurate as I actually am. Look, I'm happy to come on anytime, you guys. You know this.
Yeah.
Don't be mad at me. It was the alcohol talking.
Yeah.
No, I'm not even
Yeah.
not even buzzed. Come on.
Yeah.
Take twice that much to get me drunk.
Buds.
All right.
I'm not
Well,
buds.
and maybe for next week we bring out some of our favorite tobaccos and talk about them.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay,
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, absolutely. We can do that.
All
I can
right.
line up quite a few of them here.
Yeah, I've got a pretty good cellar.
Dandy.
I've got some
Beauty.
stuff over my shoulder that we can throw in, and we'll talk about tobaccos.
Sounds good.
All right, excellent.
All right.
Part 2 next week. Thank you all for joining us. Have a wonderful evening.
Have a good week, all.
Bye, guys.
Later.